Soyez Savoir. We love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In this bulletin, PM calls for more climate action. New dormitories for QVS. And UK helps with COVID-19 fight.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Ateda Lendua.
A car wash and service center in Kinoya Nasinu have been destroyed by fire. The blaze started at 11 a.m. and when firefighters arrived, they brought it under control and put it out. A vehicle in the garage for repairs was destroyed. Firefighters and police are still at the scene and there's traffic congestion along Ratundovi Road. Fiji's undying sense of hope and resilience has gotten us through many obstacles in the past 5 decades. Recalling Fiji's independence in 1970, Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says the fear of the unknown and forming a new independent country was overcome when Fiji raised its flag. Bainimarama says independence was the first great leap towards the many challenges in building a great nation.
Still, we can take comfort in those things that drive us, the resilience and unity of our people, our togetherness, and our internal flame of hope. Again, the future is uncertain, but we know if we work hard, if we stand together and look out for one another, we will press through this crisis onto better days, and we will be stronger for having endured it.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama stresses there is a need for highly developed countries to embrace firm commitments to curb emissions. Bainimarama delivered his statement at the UN virtual meeting at the Climate Vulnerable Forum Leaders event held at the margins of the 75th UN General Assembly.
Thank you.
Bainimarama made it clear that commitments for climate action are not aimless targets, but rather life or death deadlines.
I admit speaking in such harsh terms is, well, harsh. But for leaders of vulnerable countries, you know more than anyone that the reality we live with day in and day out is much, much harsher. It's our job to speak out. As vulnerable nations with vulnerable economies, we must come together and hold the eye-meeting countries accountable.
The Prime Minister highlighted to world leaders that by making a commitment and putting a plan in writing, the rest of the world can count on progress instead of living in fear.
We can have hope for our country's future and the futures of our children and grandchildren. It's like a wedding band. It is a reminder your life is part of something bigger than yourself.
The head of government has encouraged higher-emitting countries to commit and choose the legacy they want to leave behind. Lena Rees, FBC News.
Father Law Home will be celebrating the birthday of its oldest resident, Mary Fong, tomorrow along with Fiji's 50th independence anniversary. Fong was born in 1920 and she will be turning 100 years old on Fiji Day. She was once a caregiver at the home along with her late husband, and celebrating our independence is something she is familiar with. Mere Lawai of the Father Law Home says Fong was one of the first Chinese settlers in Fiji, and the couple owned a business in Batiri, Lambasa before moving to Tailevu.
When she arrived here with her husband, they were looking after the home that time. The husband was in planting and herself was doing the cooking for the others. But she got a lot to offer for us. But her patience, her faithfulness to whatever is done in the home, she participated also.
200 students at Queen Victoria School in Tailevu will be housed in the 2 new dormitories expected to be complete by May of next year. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, Minister for Education Rosie Akbar says the facilities are a testament to the government's commitment to education. Akbar says the government has invested close to $8.3 million to strengthen school buildings at QVS after Tropical Cyclone Winston. QVS provides boarding for over 800 students, and the 2 new dormitories will house 100 beds each and cost about $4 million.
But I'd like to urge and impress upon you all today that you have to make the maximum opportunity of the benefits that we are providing you. I'm sure the old scholars will agree with me, and the parents and the teachers will agree with me, that in our time, education was very costly, and our parents had to fork out a lot of money to send us to school. And here we are, trying to ensure that all of you reach school through all these benefits that we provide. So please do make the best use of it.
Akbar also distributed the Fiji 50 commemorative 50-cent coins to students. The Ministry of Agriculture has signed a memorandum of understanding with the United Kingdom to assist those Fijians affected by COVID-19. Agriculture Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says through this MOU, the ministry will provide a nursery kit to those Fijians who have lost their jobs due to the pandemic. Dr. Reddy says through the nursery kit, Fijians will be able to contribute to food and nutrition security and will be able to generate an income for themselves.
It will also support us in terms of providing seedlings to farmers around this where the nurseries will be established, so that they can have a uniformity in terms of planting material, and they can have pretty much close to 100% germination rate.
Up ahead, players fail drugs test at IDC, and Sotutu play Wallabies.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
After the 3 days of pool games, 3 players have tested positive for drug use at the Courts Inter-District Championship. This was confirmed by Fiji Football Association Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf, who says the players are both from the Premier and Senior Division. The Fiji FA will notify the players and districts before they take further action once the proper processes have been followed.
In the last 3 days, 1 per day is supposed to be positive, the senior and premier inclusive, but we will, once we get the lab results and all confirmed, then it will be written to the districts and the players. So it's 1 each every day.
Another player with links to Fiji will make his debut for the All Blacks on Sunday against the Wallabies in the first Bledisloe Cup test. Motion's Insulation Nandronga is a step closer to winning the Courts Inter-District Championship Senior League title. Following a close 2-0 win over Mbua yesterday, Nandronga will now face M. Aziz Sons Nreketi in the semi-final clash at ANZ Stadium in Suva tomorrow. Caroline Itavi with the details.
Nandronga will not be taking Nreketi lightly tomorrow.
My policy has been that we always treat the opposition as another fight. And there's no team that's weak in these things. Although they lose, they've been coached by good coaches, and it's they go through a program of Fiji football, and there's no weak team. So we take every team as another final.
Nandronga striker Sunny Deol says balancing school and his football career has been a challenge, but he knows it will all pay off.
I feel a lot of pressure, but I have to sacrifice my studies and my soccer life. I'm really working hard to win the jumper for the Fiji team. I'm really trying hard, training hard to one day to win the Fiji team jersey.
Nreketi, meanwhile, is keenly aware that taking on Nandronga will not be easy.
Our boys, I think, they have passed the first days, and we'll go back to the camp and see how we can strategize and see our plans for the Nandronga or anything.
The first semi-final is between Tailevu Naitasiri and Bua at 10 a.m., while Nandronga will battle Nreketi at 12 p.m. Caroline Itavi, FBC Sports.
We can expect partly cloudy skies and scattered showers this afternoon, tonight and tomorrow. Sunday should be much the same. And that's FBC News Now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. In times of crisis, you need news you can trust. Get the facts from FBC's TV, radio, and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj, keeping Fijians connected with the truth. Have a safe and happy Fiji Day.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.